Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. Have you ever wondered how to embrace imposter syndrome? Good morning, Giants. Welcome to
I
Wake Up with Giants
thought
TV.
you
I'm
were
Ryan
gonna.
Morris.
I thought you were gonna carry the tone across.
Woo!
All the way through.
It's still going.
Yeah, 2 minutes straight.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Well,
Anyway, keep going.
this is no, yeah, I was about there. I was going to just introduce the old Nicholas T. Smith. He's in the house. And if you haven't joined us on a Tribe of Giants, go ahead and do that. That's on Facebook. Or subscribe, like us now. We love that stuff. So always trying to find more giants and share the global message. So we got a great show today. Nicholas T. Smith, you want to introduce our guest?
I
Any
would
other
love to.
housekeeping items too that we
I,
have?
I don't think so. Today I'll be traveling this week, so it's just gonna be Ryan on the show Tuesday and Thursday, and maybe somebody else, some special guest.
Sure.
If they don't know they're gonna be a part of it yet.
We're gonna hunt you down.
Yep. No, let me dive in. So we got Alex Dumas. Is that right? How do I say your last name correctly?
That's perfect. Yeah,
Dumas.
as long as it's not the other way.
Yeah, because I don't see that in you at all.
No, I appreciate it.
You're the co-founder of Abundance Daily Coaching. Since 2018, you've been committed to serving your clients powerfully and fearlessly, coaching them to succeed in their personal and professional relationships. So Alex's areas of expertise are helping coaches embrace imposter syndrome. That's going to be on the topic a little bit today, and to get to the heart of their true identity in order to create thriving businesses. So when he's not spending time with his family or serving clients, Alex shares different insights and stories on his daily 3-minute podcast called Love, Serve, Care. We'll make sure we get a link to that. And as the co-chair of the Racial Equality Coalition to create social awareness for people of color in North Carolina. And so if you want to learn more and experience how his coaching could benefit you, we're going to flash that across the bottom throughout the show. So welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Nick. Thank you, Ryan. Pleasure to be here. Great morning to you both.
You bet, man. So I've got that running across the bottom here. We were talking about BHM at the beginning here, bald head matter, being a part of that.
You know what? So and as soon as I took my hat off, my green screen, everything went fuzzy.
Yeah,
The computer didn't know what to do. It's like Ryan's been on the show I don't know how many days consecutive with a hat.
We're gonna have to make a sticker. BHM, bald heads matter.
Yeah,
Got to stick together, man.
We got to. Hey, you go shiny, I go shiny.
That's
shiny.
it. That's it.
I was blinding astronauts, and so
yeah. I actually got a call from him. They said turn that off. Put that hat back on. Well, we're gonna dive in. So when we go through this show, our goal is to show different journeys from different views, different ways of creating your giantness, whatever that looks like. Everybody does it respectively. You know, we have our ways, and so we want to dive into your journey and really explore your philosophies. We want to go back in time, look what it was like growing up, what led you to where you are today. And so let's maybe begin going backward. What was it like growing up for you?
Yeah. So growing up for me, born and raised in New York, outside of Long Island. That's pretty much all I've known. My family lived in Brooklyn for a long time, but we moved out to Long Island when I was little. So Long Island, Brentwood's been my home, forever. And I'm the youngest of four. And I tell everybody, they save the best for last, and it's it's not a lie. I mean, I'm the youngest of four kids. My two older brothers, my older sister, and life was regular suburban life. Just barbecues, playing with my friends, sports, all that kind of stuff. But
I picture sand.
Yeah.
The
we were
definitely on the Ferris wheel,
yeah, we were definitely like that. Basketball and football, all day, sun up to sundown, just riding bikes, doing what we do, just being kids, being silly. That there was that aspect of that, and then you kind of asked me about my story. One of the big pivotal moments for me came, I think probably I was around 6, maybe 7, something that really young. Um, I just happened to come across a family portrait, right? One day in our house, and something just struck me. I was like, all right, there's my mom, there's my dad, my sister, my brother, my other brother. I'm not the best at math, but there was one person missing, right? And that
Wow.
was me. And that just somehow just implanted in my brain, like, oh, I'm invisible. I don't matter. Where am I? Because that was the first question. I was like, where am I? I'm like looking around, like maybe it's on the back of the photo. Maybe I'm in mom's belly, but no, I wasn't born yet. And I was like, oh, I'm not here. And that really started that path of like, oh, not speaking up for myself, keeping things inside because I'm
Wow.
not here in this physical picture. I
Yeah.
don't matter. And it would have been easy for me to just be like, hey, mom, dad, can we just take another family photo? Like, can we, do a portrait together? But that really was like the spark of me just kind of isolating myself from people,
Yeah.
or trying to get attention, class clown, and just, yeah, 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 yeah. But like, nobody can ever really get to me
But
deep,
yeah,
get to the
inside of
surface.
you, you're feeling like you don't matter. So everything you do is superficial, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
fascia.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just people pleasing, approval, like please approve of me. What's my lane? My lane is making people laugh, making people
Huh.
smile. And I'll do that at my own expense. I'll be the butt of my own joke for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah. So how did that carry forward? I mean, what else did that create in you as far as not feeling like you matter? Because I look at our topic as imposter syndrome. I could see how that would be a root cause of that,
Yeah,
like feeling
absolutely.
like a fraud, And can you talk to that?
Yeah, I mean that carried me off you know into my teen, young adult life, using
Mhm.
drugs, trying to mask that pain, trying to cover it up, bury it. But that feeling was always in there, like, oh, I don't matter, I don't exist,
Mm.
I'm insignificant. All these different feelings, and whatever relationship, anybody trying to get close to me, that's you're at arm's distance. Don't come here. This is my bubble of
Yeah.
misery, right? You can't get in here. And but it also created some really great things as I think about it now, because it gave me a lot of opportunity to think. And yeah, a lot of the thoughts weren't really positive. They weren't really um, uh, useful or serving me, but it allowed me to like look at people and just
Yeah.
and really analyze what's going on. Like I would be the person, yeah, hyped up in the crowd. I could be life of the party guy and then wallflower like in the next second. I could be
Mm.
around 100 people and feel like nobody's there. Feel like
Man,
I'm
I
not
get
there.
I could totally relate to that. And I'd imagine, anybody that's watching this right now, if you can relate, throw in the comments just a bunch of hearts. Just say, yeah, this is, with that, this is me too, because a lot of us feel that there's like this emptiness we put on a show, but then we don't connect to it internally. And so what I find interesting is it sounds like your upbringing was pretty normal, but that one experience, that pivotal moment shifted your story in such a way that it carried you for years of feeling worthless, right?
Yeah, yeah. I carried this like a bag of bricks.
Yeah.
This is real relevant for me because me and my wife just did a bunch of yard work yesterday. We had bags and bricks and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
my arms are sore right now. And I'm like, wow, this is what I would carry in my brain for 20 plus years of just this this nothingness.
Yeah. And so what shifted from there? What kind of woke you up to that way of playing life?
Yeah, it took a long time, honestly. I did everything that I was supposed to do. I went to school, studied
Mm.
psychology, all that kind of stuff, working. But I would say it was 2005, December, yeah, around December 2005, where I met this young lady, and I me being the suave man I am, I approached her on MySpace and
Yeah, yeah.
said, "What up?" I
And
literally
What,
said,
said,
yeah,
"What
what
up?"
up?
"Yeah, yeah." It's a
What
young
is it?
face, but it's a young face. But trust me, I got some
Like
years
a
on me.
Facebook wave or something, some awkward thing. What
Poke.
up?
No, it was even creepier than that. I went
Yeah,
into her DM. I was like, "What up? Nice pics." That was literally all I
yeah.
said. And then we started talking. She had me on her buddy list. So this is
She's like, this
AIM.
guy's amazing. I really like him.
Oh man,
We
yeah. I
Uh,
should
mean,
be buddies.
yeah, we should be buddies. And then
yeah.
2006, we started dating, and yeah, that was like really the start of it, because
Hmm.
she really helped. I mean, we were both in weird, broken areas. I mean, her story's
Hmm.
incredible, and I was coming from this defective, deficient place, and we just found each other at the right time, right place, and
Beautiful.
it's been us ever since.
Yeah. And so that really shifted the direction of your life from there. So 2005 in MySpace. Thank you, MySpace.
Yeah,
Changing
Tom,
lives.
Tom, you're one of the best friends we ever had in the top
Yeah.
agent, so appreciate you.
We haven't even met yet, but perfect. Changing
Yeah,
lives. But it's interesting that something like that could be pivotal in another direction because you have a picture that, okay, so let's tie this in a little bit. You have a picture that creates a pivotal moment. You have
yeah,
another picture and you say nice pics and it creates another pivotal moment, right, in your
yeah,
life. Not even realizing, I think these pivotal moments where you're going in a direction and then all of a sudden you're not. And it can be that quick. I remember there was a time my daughter was feeling really sad and we were talking about it. And I said, you can shift this. And then within a second, she starts laughing and those old feelings were gone. They were gone like they never existed. And so I don't know what comes up as you hear that.
yeah. It's funny that you mentioned like those images, like just
Yeah.
two different pictures created like two different storylines, two loops, right?
Yeah.
One story, I'm in this descending, like going to hell inside of myself, and
Yeah.
her like resurrected, like, oh my goodness, like this is something. And
Is
she sees me, I see her, and like
yeah.
there's something.
All possibilities. Alex Dumas can be anybody he wants to be, including somebody that really hates himself. Right. And
Yeah.
in an instant, a picture changes it where Alex Dumas is now a freaking rock star. So you feel resurrected and alive. And so I just want people to hear that, just to anchor that in, is that narrative. I mean, we're all of those possibilities. We can be any of that. So there's an opportunity, if you're not liking what is, to shift that.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So how'd you get into what you're doing?
Yeah, but that came about, like I said, my background was in psychology, so
Yeah.
understanding people was always in my mind, like, because I was trying to figure out like what's wrong with me, quote unquote, what is
Yeah.
wrong with me? I have the quote unquote, nice suburban life, go to private schools, I'm doing sports, I have friends, yet there's something missing. And so I wanted to dive deeper, like what is it about that? What do we do what we do? What do our routines look like? I got into that, um, studied, got my degree, then went into the world of working with the differently abled population, or you would call them disabled, developmentally
Okay. Yeah.
disabled. So I worked there for 10 years, burned out from that, but it was a great experience because it showed me to really show love to people
I,
that don't appreciate. That mean, I'll say it like this: they can't process how we process,
yeah.
but we still have to show up every day, take care of them, help bathe them, help medicate them, help transport them to place, take care of the employees there. I was managing people at a very young age, at like 24, 25 years old. Crazy for me. And I did that for
Mm.
a number of years. And um, yeah, it just showed me a lot of different things of leadership. And I got into sales and marketing from there, transitioned to different jobs. And then it was around 2016 where I was introduced to the world of professional speaking, of coaching, of digital marketing, and it just clicked for me. Like, oh, this is what I was looking for when I was studying school. I was looking for a way to, like, how do I transform myself or help people transform? And I found coaching, and it was just game on from there. Just immersing myself as much as I could, books, podcasts, courses, anything and everything. Just investing in myself, just really going in.
Man, I'm hearing a pattern here, and I love this. You're phenomenal. And I don't know if you know how phenomenal you are. Like, this is a masterful program that we're going to run today. And we like to declare it as the most powerful show we've ever done on the show on Wake Up.
Yeah,
It's this idea that what your perspective is and your judgments around that. And I love this. Townsend Wardlaw's running me through his program right now, and he coaches with Steve Hardison. And he's talking about our judgments creating our reality, right?
Mm.
And so you have this perception that starts. I'm gonna tie it all in here. So at 6, 7 years old, you start this perception that you don't matter, and then you start to judge the world from that space that you don't matter, and all you can see is how you don't matter. And so your world becomes very dark, and the reality of it is it's really challenging, right? And then
Yeah.
you have this shift, and your perception changes and your judgments change. And then all of a sudden, you're seeing possibilities everywhere. Well, I need this. Oh, I could do that. Well, I could do this. And it really opens up your world, and you're getting curious and creating all these things that didn't even exist before. They were all possibilities at every time. But Alex, you like awaken to this space of perceiving it differently, and then from there, judging it differently. What comes up as you hear that?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Where my lens was just, it was like, it's like driving in a rainstorm, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, I can't see. It was just, oh, flip this little switch right here. Oh, I can see now. My windshield's
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. I love it.
And it was kind of like that for
I
me,
love it.
where I'm driving in this mud. I don't have to do that. I'm going 100 miles an hour in this direction. It's the wrong direction.
Right.
Let's
Right.
turn it around. Let's turn around. Let's find where I'm really meant to go.
I like that analogy. Turn on the wipers, right? It's
Yeah.
all clear. Man, because that's the thing, is you're going to see what you see. And so the idea of like imposter syndrome, you mentioned that maybe you did feel like an imposter through that whole thing, and how even that perception of I'm an imposter starts creating that as a reality in your world. Can you speak to
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. I mean, as I touched on briefly, where I was managing group homes at a young age, and it was funny because the first opportunity I got to be a manager, I was actually applying for an assistant manager position. I
Hmm.
was doing like hands-on direct support for a couple of years, in college and graduated. And I was like, oh, let me just, kind of make this next step up. And uh, uh, the directors that I interviewed with, they were like, hey, we really like you. Why don't you be the manager position? I was like, huh, wait, huh, wait, say it again. Wait, what are you talking about? No, you're
Yeah.
going to be like the full-on manager. You're going to have a team and blah, blah, blah. And
Wow.
immediately, like the anvil inside of me was like sinking. I'm like, oh my goodness, like be careful what you ask for. Like I wanted something, but something greater even came. A greater opportunity came.
Wow. Wow.
Can I handle it? I'm 25. Like all these things pop up, but I said yes. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I'll learn. I'll figure it out, and I did.
Man, Ryan, could you share a little bit about Rachel Smart?
What do you want me to? So what do you
Just
want?
start saying yes to that event. Remember that?
Oh yeah. So Dr. Rachel Smart, she's a league member, and she had built a huge business inside of Juice Plus, huge business, and there was another gal that was planning to speak at their corporate event, a huge corporate event, like the whole entire company.
It was Rachel Hollis.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh
I
wow.
was gonna throw her under the
Yep.
bus.
I'll throw her name
Throw
out
her
there
right
because
under.
I'm not going to throw her under the bus.
Don't
Love
be
you,
showing name
Rachel, and
drop.
Rachel,
I
and
want to
P-
indicate how
PD was
powerful this
there.
is.
yeah, yeah, and something happened just before that made you last question. Okay, so they actually canceled on her, and and Rachel Smart had been preparing for a long time, but then got this opportunity. They called her up, and I'm sure a lot of those same feelings came up for her when they invited her to speak in front of the entire corporation. Where, oh, have I, am I worthy? Am I this? Am I that? And it's I think it's a little bit human, right? We're human. This stuff comes up when something difficult comes at us, or big, or a challenge. But just like you, she made that courageous decision and just said yes, yes, and then stepped into it. And the talk, or her speech, whatever you want to call it, went phenomenal. She was amazing. And if you know Rachel, she then dove deep and prepared, and put all of her training to the test. And just like you, I'm sure you knew you could do it. Well, you deep down inside you knew you could do it, but then all those fears come up, right? The emotions. But then you did the courageous thing and you step forward, and then it comes out. All the training, all the time, all the energy, all the effort that you've put towards it shines through.
I love that you call it an anvil. Didn't you?
Yeah.
Didn't you say
Yeah,
anvil?
it did.
It's
Yeah,
like,
an
yeah,
ambush.
I would have said anchor, but I love anvil because it's heavy. You know, I think picture Wile E. Coyote. You know,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think
it's,
it's fresh in my head. I just watched the new Space Jam movie, so just
yeah, yeah.
all those images are in
So
my head right now.
it's like sink, boom.
Yeah.
But you do something with it, and so prepare the idea of preparing for graders. You went in there as assistant manager, right?
Yeah.
And or the idea that that's what you're going for, and they see the value in you beyond what you can see. And how often do people just say, yeah, that's not me, you got the wrong person, I can't do that. You, you must be joking, right? I
Yeah.
can't be manager.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a common thing. It's like talking to somebody who's attractive, like, hey, you're really good looking. And they're like, who are you talking about? Like who, me? Oh my goodness. Like, you
Yeah,
know, this weird humility that
yeah, weird
it doesn't it
humility.
doesn't it doesn't need to be there. I mean, we're dependent on everyone's faith. I'm a believer in God, and we're children of the Creator. I have
Right.
creation in my DNA. Like I'm wonderfully made. I'm powerful. Like, and when I remember that, things get a lot easier. It's easy for us to get distracted. That's where the imposter syndrome in my head pops up, because we're like, well, I've just been this. I've been this, just who I am. This is my permanent me, and I can't do that. I like to look at it like, well, if something big is coming your way, then this is the fun part now. This is
Wow.
oh yeah, I get to play a bigger game. It's good to feel scared a little bit. It's good to feel a little bit of this. That's where you feel alive. I don't
Yeah.
want to feel mundane and do the same old thing in the same old way, and that's how we always do it. No, it's
Yeah.
like, you want me to do something big? Okay, I'm scared. Crap. Uh, okay, hell yeah, this is fun. Now
Let's
it's
do it.
uncertain. Now I don't know what to
Yeah.
do. I'll
Mm.
have to figure something out. I'll have to learn and elevate my biocomputer, my my operating system to figure
Yeah.
this out. Like, how do I do this? Who do I need to talk to? Who are the people in my world who are resources that I can lean on and learn from?
We teach a master class to teachers and to administrators so that they can then go and teach kids. And you just said something that triggered the thought of uncertainty. And we teach inside of this program that when there's uncertainty, everything is possible. It's limitless. And then all of a sudden,
Uh,
there's this whole expanse that opens up, and it could be there's emotions that could come up inside of that. But the excitement about that's how you know that's I love that. That's how you know you are alive, right? That there's some passion, there's some drive, there's some excitement there,
Yeah.
and that's where the growth occurs as well.
There
And
there isn't much growth in certainty.
no,
I mean, you know what you know, and you might be a giant in that area, but man, it's time to go feel small again and go
yeah,
climb again, right? And so I love that you brought that up too. Um, how do you embrace uncertainty? In that case.
yeah, embracing it, just trying to slow my mind down, right?
Yeah.
Trying to see, okay, what's the opportunity here? What's the mission, or what am I doing? And then look at it and look from within. It's like, all right, what have I done before? Yeah, I've done this. I'm a bad MF. I can do this. I've done this
Yeah.
before. I've done this. And this is how I talk to myself. Like, I just, I get into that place like, yeah, man, we could do this. Like, let's go, champ. Like, let's go. You got
Yeah.
this. And I like to play with this idea of like, well, the worst thing that can happen is this person say yes to me, because then I'll have to figure out, if it's a client, or if it's even with my wife, right? I said,
Yeah.
what up, my specs? The worst thing she could have said was like, oh yeah, let's go on a date. And I was like, oh my goodness, I have to take her on a date. Where do I go now? At the movies, and I have to start planning.
Yeah.
No is real easy to accept. Like, oh no, that's it. It's the end of the door. It's the end of the road. Doors closed. Someone saying yes to you is like opportunity now. It's uncertainty. It's this weird, freaky place.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be there. I'd rather be in the jungle, hacking away at the machete,
Yeah,
hacking away at the weeds versus
You've
like,
learned to like embrace that though, right? Like over time, but there was that moment where your past life
oh yeah,
has, we talk about having gravity. It has
yeah,
weight, it's weightiness, right? Where it's
yeah,
it, all of those fears, all those doubts can pile in because you've performed or you've done things a certain way for a certain period of time. The moment you become aware of how you've been performing and how you've been playing in life or acting or your operate, you talked about your operating system. Once Alex realized, oh geez, that's how I've been playing, and then made a decision, a conscious decision to play differently, that yeah, I am a bad mf'er. This guy who has two thumbs and is a bad mf'er, Alex,
that's what our
yeah,
shirt says.
yeah, we should
We need an Alex
yeah, we'll
shirt.
have an Alex a Dumas shirt. And but then like then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
It's going back to what is real, what is really true, and then opening up those possibilities and stepping into it. Now you know that, man, the coolest crap in the world can happen when inside of uncertainty. It's when you start feeling really safe and comfortable that you got to start looking around and going, whoa,
yeah, yeah,
what's going on, you know?
I want to bring this back up. Everything I'm certain of was uncertainty at one time. That's the truth.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know, everything you have now at one point it was unknown. Some
Oh,
of
did
it
you
carried
just see
forward.
that? Like had like an orb of darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was the uncertainty ring. Like, you're time to get
Whoa.
uncertain.
the black hole of uncertainty. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the beauty of it is that's where all the possibilities are. And man, what happens though is some people will look at that uncertainty and look at it as though it's a curse, and then operate from that space that it's a curse. I need to know every step. And I can tell you from our experience that if we had to look forward and see every step to where we are today, I would have never taken a step because it would have been too overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so that veil of darkness that comes with uncertainty, that unknown future, you declare it, you step, but having that veil kind of is a blessing,
Yeah. Absolutely. It's your senses are heightened, right? If
Yeah.
you've ever been like in a quote unquote wrong neighborhood before, you're aware of everything. Like, okay, I know this street light, I know this street sign, I know. I'm looking at everything. Okay, these people over here. This is what's going on.
Beautiful.
Versus
Yeah.
a typical walk down the block, you're missing things. Like,
Doop-de-doo.
yeah, doop 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 doop. Like, it's just
Hey, neighbor.
there's nothing exciting.
I picture the Truman Show, Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great, yeah, that's a great connection. Beautiful.
Yeah. But what a reality. I mean, the reality is that when you're in that space of fear, that could be powerful. I mean, we think of fear and often, the brain shuts down, the body starts pulling in. But the one thing that you just mentioned inside of that adrenaline rush is that your senses are heightened. Like you hear every sound, you see every sight, you smell things that maybe you haven't smelled before. And so your senses are heightened because you're prepared to step into the unknown, and you're either going to fight it, run from it, fawn to it, right? Or faint. You're going to pass out. one of those. Hopefully you don't pass out.
Yeah.
But if you fight for your life, that heightened sense of uncertainty, that heightened sense can really help you to see things that you might have missed otherwise. So without that uncertainty and that fear response, you might miss some things.
We talk about Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
he's
man.
not sure. He's going to get the
cup.
cup, the
Yeah.
crucible. Yeah.
The
And he's
Holy
and he's
Grail.
and he's
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
there's this cavern, like this space between I don't know, just big expanse, and it drops down to who
Oh,
knows,
yeah.
this abyss forever, right?
Yeah.
And you see Harrison Ford, and he gets this look on his face, and he's nervous, but it dawns on him that he's just got to trust and step. And he does that, and he closes his eyes, and he just leans forward, and he puts his foot out, and it almost shocks the shit out of him, right? He's like, "Ugh," and he looks, and
I
he's
gotta
like,
go
"Oh my
watch that
gosh!"
again.
So then he
Yeah.
steps backwards, grabs a handful of sand, and throws it out there, and then can see a little bit more of the
Yeah.
path, and then knows where to start stepping, and the path appears.
I want to go back to what you. So Alex, you just had a vision there of the cup. Tell me what you saw with that, because that might be another perspective here.
Yeah, I think it was the Holy Grail or something of the sort he was looking for, and he's looking around like this whole, just array, a table of all these cups and chalices, and he's looking. It's like, what's fit for a king? What's fit for a king? And then I don't remember what his face was like, but I kind of remembered a moment where he was like, no, this is it. Like his intuition led him to this dirty, like you would look at this cup like this is like a cup of a peasant, but you think about Jesus, like, yeah, he didn't show up in a robe and a chariot of fire and chains and stuff like that. He was just
humility, right?
Just this dude, like this, like this beggar. He'd almost look like. He's like, this is the cup. Like he just knew.
Yeah. Okay. I've got some thoughts here. We're gonna get off track a little bit.
It's all right.
We talk about Einstein in our presentation, and the only difference between me and Einstein and anybody else is the size of his hippocampi and his neocortex. And it was fully developed. That's the memory store, and that's the manipulation of the memory store. There's the only difference. He plugged in so much information that when it came to intuition, your intuition draws a lot of it from what you put in there. And so if you put in faulty information, your intuition could come out a little faulty. And so Einstein plugged his brain full of information that he could draw from on this gut instinct, this intuition, and he manipulated in such a way that he created the theory of relativity, right? And this guy has 86 billion brain cells, just like I do and you do. And he developed that part of his brain in such a way that he could do that. And every one of us has that as a possibility for us. Yet if we plug in information that's faulty, then our intuition is going to pull from that, and we're going to have some faulty intuition. And so it's really important what you put in, because that's what you're going to manipulate and draw from when that intuition comes up. Yeah. Maybe in addition to that, there's some things that you haven't plugged in there that intuition connects with because of what you're plugging in. I don't know. I love that, how I can just throw that out. I don't know. So it's got to be a possibility, right? Like there's no evidence for it. It's got to be true, right?
Yeah.
What do you think as you hear that?
Yeah, I think of it as something scary and unknown. It's like all this programming and of whatever our parents or our environment has created within us, or what we've at least accepted, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I look at a lot of those, my past. I evaluate that a lot. I'm like, yeah, I accepted this. I just accepted, be quiet. I accepted be invisible. I accepted all of that. I just surrendered it. I didn't challenge it in my head like, well, why? That would have been a great question to ask myself. Just why? Why? There's nothing wrong with that. Is there something wrong with me? I don't know. Let's figure it out. Let's play. Let's decide. Whereas that one side of the fence, I was like, nope, this is it. I kind of look at it. I talk to this with clients a lot about our courtroom in our brain, right?
Yeah.
All these experiences, all these things in our lives are trying to prosecute us. And you're terrible. Nick, you suck. Ryan, you're terrible. Alex, you can't do this.
We're like we're the defense, we're the prosecuting attorney, we're the judge, we're the jury, we're the executioner, the bailiff, for everybody.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You have no idea who you're talking to. If you knew who you're talking to, right?
Yeah.
Never
we are night court.
But we do this to ourselves, and then the other side is like, all right, I got to defend myself. How do I do that? I have to bring up evidence. I have to bring up proof. And now, where's that proof come from? My experiences. Back to, I am a bad MMFer. Why am I that? Well, I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a this. I'm a son. I'm a brother. I'm a cousin. Anyone who's around me feels better about themselves. Anytime I work with somebody, their life improves. Anytime I do this, something tangible result happens. So now my question to this prosecution is, well, prove it. Prove I'm worthless. Prove I'm insignificant. Prove it, because over here, this side of my defense table, I have these boxes and stacks of evidence. You got to show me, prove it.
I love this. You know what comes out of a courtroom? Judgments, right? In a way, it's our judgments. It's what we think of ourselves, how we judge ourselves. Debbie Roth, I know Debbie Roth, John Rogers is another big one around this, is I forgive myself for judging myself as a thing, right? I forgive myself for judging this person as this thing. Steve Hardison talks about that no one, he is that, no one is worthy of his judgment, right?
Yeah,
And
it's powerful.
even the thought going further is, I am not worthy of my judgment. And sometimes we do that as we go into the courtroom of our minds, and instead of battling it out and saying, yeah, prove it. Prove it. Let me show you the evidence in the other direction. Instead of doing that, we just accept it.
Yeah.
And man, that's powerful. What are you accepting? Because that acceptance becomes your perception. That perception becomes your judgment. That judgment becomes your reality, because you start to speak it into your world, and that becomes your reality. And so learning to shift that. What are some tools that you've used to do that, to be able to shift that around? So that you talk about proving it, but what are some other tools?
Yeah, for me, journaling is a big thing. I'm a strong believer in the power of the pen, of just writing these things down, being grateful for my day. And that's what's helped me really lock in on, hey, what happens during my day? And it's not about necessarily the big moments of like, yay, I did this or whatever. It's like, hey, my son gave me a hug today, like out of nowhere. Just my daughter, we had a conversation. I'm grateful they can come to me, that they feel comfortable enough that, yeah, I'm dad, but they could also rely on me. You know, my wife, you know, if we just a dance with her today, or like a hug with her in a moment, like just these little things, or a cool breeze in the day. I really try to lock in on what are those things that are really powerful for me. And I don't know if I can necessarily name them as tools. It's just, I'm always constantly looking at like my operating system, like where am I coming from? What am I, it's not about necessarily what I'm getting to, where my destination is. It's like, all right, where am I coming from today? This conversation with you two right now, I want to come from love. I want to come from an energy of just fun and play and inspiration, encouragement. That's my tool.
Well, I think you're doing pretty good.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
a bad MFer.
You're a bad MFer. Yeah.
I'm gonna keep that going forever.
Yeah. So you know what, from the book, you know, The Giants and the Smalls, the 12 journeys that come out of that for giants.
What?
Hey.
That one?
This book he's talking about?
That old thing?
This old thing?
Hold on. Gotta dust it off around.
Could you imagine a big cloud comes off of it?
Right.
Like, holy cow. You got to dust your house, brother.
It's just like, it just falls apart. It's like a scroll.
It's like the chalice in Indiana Jones. It's like, that is a dusty, dirty little book.
Yeah.
You know, the 12 journeys, you go from uncertainty and unconsciousness, right? You're unconscious to how you're showing up in the world. Like there was that space where you adopted and accepted that you didn't matter. I really just want to draw in the pathway here, right? Yeah. And you went unconscious in that space, and your world just was from that space of not mattering. And then in 05, you matter again. And then your world starts to operate from that space. But it was an awakening and awareness that you were operating a way that didn't serve you. And then when you became aware, there was this bit of acceptance. Wow, yeah, I did do that, right? I did do that. But it's not a judgment of you're right or wrong, good or bad. It's just, okay, I did that. So now what? And so in that acceptance, you might grieve what's lost. Yeah, I lost some time there. I'm missing some things. I'm sad that it didn't go the way that I thought. And then you go into gratitude of, wow, you know what? I have a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot of good in my life. And then you step into the path of uncertainty. And I love going through this just briefly here. You go into the path of uncertainty, and then all of a sudden everything is possible. And that's where you create your vision from. And then when you create your vision, the next step, and this is the hardest step for most people, is to surrender, to let it go and follow the intuition and the path, right? And then keeping yourself in a space where you can nurture that vision and then also nurture yourself, because as you nurture yourself, you open yourself up to intuition. And then as you do that and you create in your world, you start to want to give back to others, which is exactly what you're doing. And then you go back and you do that cycle all over again. And you find as many ways as you can to become a giant. You go from giant to small over and over in different areas. It's like somebody called it climbing mountains without tops, right? You climb as many as you can, but there's no pinnacle, right? For Alex Dumas. What do you think as you hear all that? I mean, those are kind of the journeys of the book.
Yeah, whew, yes, that's heavy right there, because that cycle of
Yeah.
bottom to the top, and I use this analogy as far as a mountain, really kind of relating to sales. So it's really great that you put that, climbing mountains, and that's what I look at it as far as a relationship with people.
Yeah.
And this is kind of going off track, but I'm going to bring it back, where a lot of the sales folks are like, take them to the funnel. I'm like, I don't want to take people down. I want to invert that. How do we bring them up? How do we bring them to the apex, to the summit?
Yeah.
How do I uplift you, help you ascend?
Yeah.
And a lot of that comes with these bricks, man. We got to let it go. I have, me and another coach, we came up with our own junior version of like TBO, LIT, NFL, like Steve Harvey's thing. We created LTSG, let that shit go. Let that go. LTSG, let it go. Because it's not serving you. A closed hand can't receive. My hands are open. I let it go. I can receive now. I can raise myself up. I can help others come up.
Yeah, see, I love that. Receive in both directions, like receiving to help other people up, receiving to help have a hand up, and receiving. Here's an interesting thought with surrender. The word surrender means to render over, to turn over to someone or something. And so without a receiver, there is no surrender. And so if your hands close, you can't let somebody else surrender. And if your hands close, you can't surrender. Like there has to be a receiver.
Yeah.
And so that power in opening the hand, opening up the possibilities, letting that shit go,
Yeah.
Huh.
As a receiver, I want to be Jerry Rice, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Greatest of all time. That was who I idolized as a kid.
Yeah.
I want to be that. I don't want to be Fumble Bumble Johnson, whatever.
That guy was the worst.
Or Des
Bumble.
Des Bryant. Des dropped it, right?
Yeah, you got to Jerry Rice those visions, right?
Yeah.
Just open up. Get some sticky hands.
Yeah, like the little giants, the kid. With
yes.
With the stick on his hands.
Isn't it funny how movies and things, we just pull them all in. No more Butterfingers. Ryan's got Butterfingers.
Yes.
They're nice, but yeah.
So he's not doing the OBJ. He's not pulling off one of those. Yeah.
Right. Well, let's keep going down the rabbit hole a little bit. So, as far let me try and pull it back in here. So the idea that the visions, you really want to open up to all the possibilities. So uncertainty is a really good space to operate from, because it heightens your senses and it keeps you kind of on the edge of your seat. So you're constantly looking for opportunities or possibilities, right? And then from that, being able to receive what comes and then being guided by the intuition. So not being able to fully see the picture, but holding the vision and being guided by the intuitions that come. And then climbing those mountains, one step at a time. We don't leap, right?
It doesn't happen in one day, because that's what most people make it sound like. Overnight success.
Yeah.
Skyrocket.
Send me $10,000 and I'll turn you into a superstar overnight. Well, that guy's a superstar. I got $10,000, but nothing changed for you. It's that idea that it's a process, right?
Yeah. It's a scary, lonely process. Tim Grover, he has a great book that he just released called Winning, and he talks about how that road, and he mentioned in his book Relentless as well, but like the road to paradise starts in hell. And every time we win, we achieve, that bus ride right back to hell starts. because now it's, oh man, I'm starting from scratch again in a sense. Yeah, I won. Yes, I achieved, but if I want to reach that same level again, back to hell,
Yeah.
back to doing that actual work, the process of achieving that and realizing that. And that's a place that most people don't want to
Yeah.
go.
I think of Joseph Campbell's work, The Hero's Journey, right?
Yeah.
That they leave somewhat peaceful place. You know, the guy that goes out and saves the princess, let's say, and he's got to fight the dragon. Well, he's sitting at home eating his dinner or whatever, and he gets the call, hey man, we need you to go fight this dragon. He's like, yeah, but I just sat down to watch my favorite show, dude. I've been working all day. And they're like, yeah, but we need you to do this. And it's not necessarily that anybody calls you to your greatness. It's that we do that. And we have a choice to make: stay in comfort or get out there and fight the dragons, get out there and go through hell. Because that feeling of smallness, right, is where the greatest opportunity for growth is. It's not where you're doing great things. It's where you're not, that you have possibility for growth. And so Townsend Wardlaw in his work, he talks about pulling the weeds, but it's one thing to be able to pull the weeds, but you got to be able to spot the weeds. And a lot of us aren't willing to look at the lawn close enough to spot the weeds.
Yeah. That's a great analogy. Yeah, my grass is great. It's green. Well, you might have a snake or two back there. You might have some rodents. You might have a pit. You might have, like, one of those little, like, things in the cartoon, like the grass over the pitch, and you fall through, and it's a real trap.
I like where your mind goes, man. You get way more creative than I do around that. I didn't even think of a pit. That's fantastic. But it's true. You don't look close enough at your lawn to see, you know what, that's a beautiful lawn, but there's some things I could do to even improve it more outside of spray paint.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, what if you were to give somebody some wisdom, let's say somebody's starting out on the journey, let's say you're starting out on the journey, you get to go back in time, you get to have a conversation with Alex when he's beginning this whole journey. And you're sitting there talking with him, and he's the younger version of you, doesn't yet know what you know, and you know what he's going to go through, right?
Yeah.
What would you share with him as a piece of wisdom?
Gosh, man, if I talked to that guy, I don't know how much time we would have. We would have to have a week of this, but a few key things I would share with them is, one, ask for help. Don't be afraid to be embarrassed. You can't improve and look good at the same time. You're gonna look stupid. As a baby, you walk around, you fall, you look, you're clumsy, you look silly, but you figure it out. Ask for help, because you don't know everything. You don't know shit, dude. It's okay. It's okay that you don't know anything yet. Find people who can help you, because the more you can do that, faster you're gonna go, real fast.
Can we create a distinction before, like, hang on to the rest of your thought there, so don't lose that. But ask for help, and a distinction between asking for help and asking for rescue.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that?
You know what? It's a great point, and I'm going to bring up this quote that I've been using a lot now from Damon Dash, former CEO of Rockefeller Records. He said the best way to show appreciation and show thank you to somebody is by taking action. And I think help is that. Hey, I need some help. Can you help me figure this out? Yeah, do this and this. I do it. You've helped me. Versus, I don't know what to do. Oh my goodness, I'm struggling. Well, this is what you need to do. Okay, great, thank you. And I'm still struggling. I'm still suffering. When we take action, that's how we should really value somebody else's time and their energy, because it wasn't a waste for them and waste for you.
If we had nothing from the show but that right there, that this would be a successful show. And there's nuggets throughout this whole thing. So taking action is the greatest form of appreciation. I mean, that's huge. So there's a distinction there. Asking for help means I'll go take the action. I'm just asking, help me stabilize. Let me lean for a minute. Let me do this. But it's not your responsibility to change me. That's mine. Do you
100%.
do you remember where you left off regarding the
The
wisdom?
advice?
Yep.
Yeah. The other thing for sure would be you don't need to believe in yourself.
Hmm.
You need to be certain of yourself.
Hmm.
Belief is cool. In movies, and there's elements that are like, yeah, I gotta believe in myself, believe. But when it kind of goes back to what you're saying of, I need to know this. I need to have an understanding of this whole process before I do anything. And that's, for me, what belief is. I need to believe in myself before I want to start running or losing weight. I need to believe myself. Like, no,
Hmm.
just be certain. Be certain of who you are. Be certain of what you want to do. And that's going to be part of the process. It's going to unravel itself as you move forward. If you stay
Can
stuck and believe, then you're in belief world. You're in someday island, and someday my prince will come.
Someday Island. I love it. Well,
Sounds like
the
a
word.
terrible place.
Yeah, it's nice there. It's
Yeah.
sunny someday.
It's a nice tower. I get
Yeah.
to like brush my hair and comb it down till
Yeah.
the girl climbs up and she rescues me. But
Yeah. However
I'm in a
people like
tower.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
in a tower. If I fall, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Just like Rapunzel.
Yeah. It sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
The word belief, it's a Germanic word. Ryan, we talked about this. It comes from the word Glauben, meaning to hold dear. And so there's a lot of things that we hold dear that maybe don't even serve us. And so the idea of certainty, like trusting yourself that you can figure it out. Like beyond holding dear, you might hold some beliefs that say that that's not true. But then you have some evidence that shows that it is true. You can count on yourself, right? And so
Yeah.
trust yourself, be certain in yourself. I like that. I think that's a powerful thing to share.
Yeah.
So what other thought came up with that?
Yeah. The other thing that comes up from me, me talking to me,
Yeah.
we just have fun. Like LTSG, man, let it go. Don't be so serious. And yes, I play. I love to joke and have fun, but also bring that energy in the work environment. It doesn't mean I goof off and I'm throwing eggs at people at the office or
Yeah.
being a prankster all day. But it's
Right.
just, all right. Let me find a way to make this process fun. If it's making you know uh, sales calls or something like that. All right, how can I make this a fun call? How can I learn about this person? And
Yeah.
or I'll play little games of have a game of how many questions can I ask the person before they start asking me something? It's just little stupid things like that, but
Yeah.
it keeps
Yeah.
me engaged. It keeps me wondering on edge.
We used
Yeah,
to
make
throw a
growth a fun
word
game.
in.
That's a good one. I like that.
Like you got to use the word elephant in your sales pitch, right? Like
Yeah.
somewhere in your sales pitch, you got to use that.
Yeah. I would
I
have
think,
word of the day, like
yeah,
flourish or
yeah.
ambiance, something ridiculous that you just
Yeah,
throw
bro.
in.
They
You got
do
to
that
use
all the time
broking
at my
nagging.
work. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And you're like, okay, I'll approve this deal if you go back out there and say this. And you look at him, you're like, seriously, I'm not saying that. They're like, yeah, you got to say it or I'm not approving it. So you go out there, you're like, hey, great news. She's like, oh, did I get the trailer? Like, no, but I saved a bunch of money on my car insurance. And they're like, what? I'm like, just kidding. Yeah, you got the trailer.
Oh
Like,
man.
what? Or I save 15% or more on my car insurance. Something like, it's like, oh gosh. So yeah, but
That's
it makes
funny.
it fun. It changes, it changes the game and it
It-
also helps you forget about like it's the perspective thing, right? It helps you
yeah.
forget about the negative self-talk that goes on in your head and the weightiness and the gravity that's been holding you back. When your mind has those endorphins and the different way of looking at it, that helps change the game in a different direction. It shifts that energy um, to the growth, the let the shit go type of a mentality. I
Yeah.
like that.
Actually, Melissa Ross sent me a I don't know if it's like a keychain type thing that I hang in my car, but it says that it's like Buddha, little Buddha symbol, and it says "Let that shit go."
Oh man,
Um,
Buddha knows. All
yeah,
right.
Buddha knows.
Steve's on his way to church. Sorry, let
Appreciate you,
that crap
Steve.
go.
He says another church service. Steve, I don't know if this is church, but
Yeah.
sure.
That's kind of funny. My mom always wanted me to be a preacher, a pastor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is my altar. So it's my
Yeah. It's good. That's mine too. I don't go to church, so this is perfect. So, what else do you want to share with us? Let that poop go.
Clean it up for Steve.
yeah, for
Get
kids.
your mind right before you're going.
LTPG.
Yeah.
The earmuffs version, right?
LTPG.
LTPG. It should be hyphen PG.
Right.
Yeah,
The PG
yeah.
version
Oh,
of the other.
It's the
That's
PG
a
version.
really good idea. That's funny.
Yeah.
Funny. I like that. Oh man, as far as sharing anything else, I mean, yeah, we covered a lot of stuff, and this has been a really great conversation. I told you this is gonna be the best conversation on your show ever, and hopefully
Yeah.
I've lived up to that. I would just say, yeah, have fun. LTSG, like that helps disarm you from any of this serious,
Yeah.
overwhelmed thinking. Like the world is our playground. I just want to play.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
play to
Really.
win.
Yeah. How would life go if you just started playing with it?
Yeah.
You didn't take it so seriously for a minute, What could you create? I love it. Yeah, preach. Man, I feel honored to have you on the show. One, we have a lot in common, the bald heads. Zach. I kept picturing the office with the stapler and the Jello too. When you're talking about pranks at work.
Yeah, that was definitely me at one point. We were definitely, one of my old positions. We were definitely extra with the jokes and the pranks.
Extra.
I
Yeah,
came back from vacation and all my stuff was shrink wrapped. Everything, like my stapler, the paper clips. There was everything.
Goodness.
It took me hours just to undo it all.
Yeah. And I'd imagine Ryan was saying the MFer, but not about himself, like in a good way. Yeah. So, here's the beauty of your journey. And if I were to highlight some of the key takeaways here is we all have a different start point. That doesn't matter. We all have different upbringings. That doesn't matter for who you can become, right? Some people experience trauma. Some have parents who are pretty much giants, and you have a family life that's fairly normal. And then you see a picture and it changes the whole dynamic of everything, right? So the story that you're telling yourself really matters. And so that story can shift at any time. And so your narrative that you're sharing, as soon as you wake up to that's the way you're playing life, you change that, you step into the uncertainty, and then everything's a possibility, everything. And you can play with it. You can have fun with it, that it's okay to ask for help, that you're leaning on others, but you're the one taking the action. That's the greatest form of gratitude that you can show, is to get out there and take action. And there are no limits to what you can create. That when you become a giant in one area, go back and feel small in another, right? Just keep finding the weeds in your yard, the potholes, the bugs, the rodents.
Yes.
Clear it out. Yeah. Any final thoughts from either of you on that?
Yeah, I would say, as far as uncertainty, feeling like an imposter, I mean, do something today that's scary, that's really uncomfortable. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be something massive. It doesn't, if you're somebody who's like, I would love to run a marathon, I don't know if I could do that. Well, just put on your sneakers today. You don't have to run, put them on. Do something small, do the doable, right? Because once you start doing those things, you start adding up those wins. Guess what? That's your courtroom. That's your defense. Yeah, I put on my sneakers every day. Yeah, I take a walk. I go around the block. I started to run. I started to do this, and it compounds. You'd be surprised on how much you can run in a week, in a month, in a year. But it all starts with just these small, tiny steps. It doesn't have to be this massive, I'm changing my life forever. It's overwhelm. How am I going to do that? Oh my God. Like I ran for 2 hours on the treadmill today. I'm not, I don't have the Rock's body yet. I must suck. I'm defective and deficient.
Yeah. It says every man in the world.
I did 10 push-ups. Where is it?
Yeah, I love that you said do the doable, take small steps. Giants still take small steps. They're just bigger in capacity. That's it. Still small steps. Do the doable. Your doable becomes bigger and bigger as you step.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan, what other thoughts do you have?
Alex, what did you say again to your wife on MySpace? What was the pickup line?
I said, "What up? Nice picture." And this is WADDUP. So I'm 22.
What up?
It's, I have to keep
That's what we
some
need on the
street
shirt.
cred. What up? Nice
What up?
pics.
You know what came up for me there is that, and in all of this, is that if that's the only game you have at the moment, what up can change everything. Just what up? Like, do what you can do with what you have at the moment.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a guru. You don't have to invest millions of dollars. You don't have to be perfect now. You already are. You're already worthy. You're already enough. Just what up? Just do that little thing now. Do the doable. I love that, because that was what you were, where you were at right then, right? That was
Yeah.
I could do this. What
Yeah.
up? Nice pics.
Like, I had no confidence to talk to girls in public. I was trying to go to clubs, and
Yeah.
it just wasn't my vibe. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be this weird cyber creep, and I just
something
found
in
the
that,
right
man,
one,
about
and it just worked.
keeping it simple. Keep it
It just-
simple. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
simple
like,
dimples.
I
Yeah.
like you. You're creepy like me. That's
Giants,
perfect.
make sure that you keep it simple and stay creepy like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
King of the creeps all day.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on the show. Really loved this in every way. So feel honored to have you on here and have you part of the tribe as well. And for anybody watching, if you haven't subscribed yet to YouTube, do that. Share it. If you feel like a message resonates with you or somebody that you love and that they could use this message, share it with them. And if you haven't gotten
Alex, for sure.
if you haven't gotten the book, check out Alex's website. Will you shout that out one more time here?
Oh yes,
See, we're trying to promote you. You're trying to promote us.
Don't you dare try and promote us.
Don't you dare. TheRealAlexDumas.com, and all my social media handles the same thing. The Real Alex Dumas. See, keep it simple.
Yeah,
all the way.
It.
That's how everybody can find me.
My Instagram handles the official Ryan Morris. That's it.
I thought it was 2 thumbs.
Yeah.
2 thumbs.
No, if you haven't checked out the book, we just got the paperback edition released internationally, so it's easy to get in the UK, Australia, Canada, all the major countries. And so the paperback edition, a little different from the hardcover, but the story is the same and the message is the same. Yeah, I love it. You're a great model. You're like better than Vanna White.
I was trying to do like the whole like Price is Right kind of thing.
Yeah, right. I
think
it's worth that's worth $1 million, Alex. All right, man. So thank you for being on. We'll see you in the next episode.
Love you
Appreciate
too.
you guys. Take care. Stay blessed.